On the show today, some big games around Flames Nation and one group that makes sure Williams Stadium is always rocking.
Plus, the story of a former Philadelphia Flyer turned Liberty coach and how his faith got him through a difficult time in his life. This is Game On, and it starts right now.
What's up? Welcome to Game On. Thanks for taking the time to check us out. Each week we bring you stories from Liberty University athletics, and today is no exception.
Yeah, that's right. We begin today with a top 25 showdown on the gridiron as the 25th ranked Flames hosted number 14 Charleston Southern.
Yeah, Rhett, when this season's schedule was first released, everyone was aware that this game, the final Big South Conference game for Liberty, could well decide the conference championship. And as it turned out, the stakes couldn't be much higher. To put it simply, a win for the Flames would punch their ticket to the FCS playoffs. A loss, and the situation gets a bit more complicated. The Flames, Buccaneers, will play in front of the second largest crowd in Williams Stadium history. How about that? Over 21,000 fans were in the building. And those wearing red love the way this game started. On just the second play from scrimmage, Chris Turner picks off a CSU pass and nearly takes it back for a touchdown. Liberty would end up settling for a field goal and go on top early 3-0. Now, as it turned out, that great start wouldn't be indicative of the way this game would go. The Charleston Southern offense really kicked it into high gear after that, on their way to racking up over 500 yards of total offense. 3 second-half scores from Liberty wouldn't quite be enough as the Buccaneers would roll to a 48-26 win. With more on this game, Brett is standing by right now with head coach Turner Gill.
Hey, Matt. Coach, as always, we appreciate you coming on in.
Thank you.
Tough game against Charleston Southern. Their offense were able to score on 5 straight drives at one point. What did they do so well?
Well, they executed. We did not execute as well as they did, and they did. And again, when you have a ball game like that, it's to find out who will win the line of scrimmage, the offensive line versus our defensive line. Their offensive line made some progress on it, and they made some plays, and sometimes they got it rolling, and we were not able to stop them.
Always in a loss, there are some bright points. What were some bright spots for your Flames team in this?
Well, I think we saw our guys continue to fight, so to speak. They continue to play hard. They still continue to execute the things in the second half. Again, we just got so far behind, it was unable to overcome it. But again, our guys continue to fight and continue to do the things they need to do.
Kendall Kuhlman is quietly having a solid season. How happy are you for him after being out with injury all last year?
Well, I'm excited for him. Senior, a tremendous person, number one, a guy who loves the game of football, a great teammate, and I appreciate all the things that he has done. Again, he's been part of winning 4 championships out of 5 years of being here, and so that's all you can ask for.
When you see your young guys go through such a tough game, what are some points of emphasis you talk about after the game just to learn from this?
Well, you just stay together as a family. We talked about that. You keep on working hard. When you still got to go and enjoy the game. We're both competitors as far as coaches and players. And so we just say, let's go back to work. And we got another fall game to make sure we can improve on. We always talk about being better than yesterday. So let's be better than our last football game and finish out on a good note.
Obviously, the last home game for your seniors. Mm-hmm. Is it an emotional time for you seeing guys that you've been with for 4 years playing their last game on the home field and then they're going to be moving on?
Yeah, there are some emotions, but you kind of keep that check after the last game per se, and because there's still some work to be done and all those things of that nature, and just talk to them about appreciation of what they have done and what they have accomplished, not just on the football field, but also academically and also spiritually, as far as a lot of people have accepted Christ as their personal Lord and Savior. So awesome. We thank them for that.
Coach, always good to talk to you.
Thank you, and to God be the glory.
Matt, back over to you.
Thank you, guys. Always good to hear from Coach. Well, anyone that's ever been to a high-level college football game knows that there are a lot of things that go into making the game day atmosphere what it is. One of the most noticeable is the marching band. And at Liberty University, it's that band, the Spirit of the Mountain, that helps make the Williams Stadium experience so special. Listen. Before the kickoff, before the team even takes the field, you know it's game day at Liberty University when you hear the Spirit of the Mountain bring that iconic college football sound.
College football is different than NFL football and different than high school football. There's so much live presentation that's going on. The glitz and the excitement and the energy and the sound reinforcement that we bring to that event is like nothing else. There's nothing like live music.
There's something to be said about being there and having a group there that's that size with that kind of audio presence in the stadium, performing live with all those people around. And it's really cool because especially with the students, since we're right there, they'll get into it. Especially if we play something like the Imperial March, Darth Vader's theme, or Living on a Prayer. The students will get really excited. They'll sing.
I think there's a lot of energy that we bring. We're like one group of people. Like it's no longer each individual person, and we become part of one unit. And being able to see that one group and watching them perform, or even just having them play in the stands between downs and things like that, is really exciting.
Every song, every note, every step is strategically composed to get the fans and the team into the game day spirit. So it's no surprise that preparing for the show takes a lot of work.
We begin in February selecting the show. And that begins with the music. The music is most important. And we involve the students in the Liberty University Marching Band and a lot of their ideas and concepts for the show. It takes us all spring semester to really identify what that's going to be, put the entire package together, and begin the process of arranging the music. After that, there's a lot of things that happen with writing the drill, which is all the motion that you find, writing the routine of the guard members, putting together the percussion book package, and that happens all summer long.
We try and do a good mix of popular tunes for the crowds, that way people can really get into it, enjoy it, and connect with it. So we really try and make the show pretty varied in the styles, so that way we can reach out to a really wide audience. And obviously our primary goal is to entertain the crowd and to help with the atmosphere at Williams Stadium on the weekends.
But when all the hard work is done, that's when the fun begins. But whether the Flames win or lose, the most important song they play is the one unto the Lord.
We have 240 plus members, including staff and directors, and we're all working together for one goal, one purpose, to glorify the Lord and to provide a really great atmosphere and performance at Williams Stadium. You know, you think about any kind of musical ensemble, and even though it's pretty big and it does stuff at sporting events, the marching band is an ensemble. The word ensemble comes from a French word that means together, and I think that just kind of encapsulates really what makes the marching band so incredible.
We believe that we play for an audience of one first, and that is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. We work really, really hard together, and because we work so hard together, that creates a bond all by itself. College bands enjoy that no matter where they are, but we have the opportunity to combine that with our brotherhood and sisterhood in Christ, and it's a combination that's second to none.
And thank you to our very own Sam Farnsworth for producing that piece. I love the band. I actually used to drive the truck and trailer for the band, but that story is for another time. Well, let's turn our attention now to men's basketball. Season openers are always so much fun, and they're even more fun when you run the opposition straight out of the building. Flames taking on the Cairn Highlanders. The Flames predicted to finish second in the Big South, and they didn't waste much time getting down to business. John Dawson would lead the Flames with 15 points. Two of these here on the layup, followed by this Brock Gardner tray, would give the Flames a 21-9 lead. They were pretty good from deep on this night. Still in the first half, Cairns' Zachary Dalton would help this group close the gap, scoring 7 in a row to cut the deficit to 29-27. In the second, the Flames would start to pull away. Dawson would find his stroke, hitting back-to-back three balls, and then Caleb Holmesley would walk the baseline and put the exclamation point on it with a baseline two-handed flush. Not to be forgotten was senior Ray Chen. He netted 14 points on the night as well, providing the Flames with some quality bench scoring that propelled them to an 81-53 victory in their season opener at the Vine Center. The Lady Flames would open up their season at home as well, taking on the Duke Blue Devils. The Flames would come out hot and would actually lead this game 18-14 into the late stages of the first quarter, but then their fortunes would unfortunately turn. 3 straight turnovers would put Duke in front, and they would never look back. Rebecca Greenwell would have a career night, scoring 28 points for the Blue Devils. Molly Reagan came off the bench for the Flames and contributed 6 points early. She would end up finishing with 9, while Flames would get some quality efforts from their freshmen as well. Ola Makarat would finish with 9. Leela Sellers would also finish with 4 and 3. Unfortunately, the 15th-ranked Blue Devils would be too much for the young Flames and win this game 98-38. It was a tough challenge for a Flames team who started 3 freshmen on the night.
Yeah, they will get better, no doubt, as the season progresses. Well, turning our attention now to women's soccer, it's basically becoming an annual tradition. The Liberty Lady Flames make the NCAA tournament, and then they draw North Carolina as their opponent. This past weekend, for the 2nd straight season and 3rd time in the last 4 years, Liberty would make the trek to Chapel Hill to open NCAA tournament play. LU entered on a program record 8-game win streak, but that would be snapped at the hands of the Tar Heels. UNC took just a 1-0 lead into the half before pulling away with 2 more goals in the second. Holly Van Noord had a season-high 12 saves in the hard-fought loss. Another great season for Lady Flame soccer, coming to an end, their final record on the campaign, 14-8. Well, Liberty Volleyball is hosting the Big South Tournament this year, and they'll enter tourney play as the number 2 seed. An 11-5 conference mark earned them that position, the highest seed they've had since back in 2012. Coincidentally, that was also the last time LU won the conference title. The Lady Flames have a Big South record 7 conference championships in all. They'll now look to make it 8 this weekend. Well, coming up, he was a rising prospect in the NHL before injuries struck. See how Marc-Andre Bourdon was able to face one of the most difficult times in his life.
And we break out a brand new Warm Hunt and Fuego for your viewing enjoyment. That's when Game On returns.
I'm on my way, heading out across the bay.
You know, conventional advertising says we should start with an arbitrary quote from a historic figure. It should make us sound nostalgic and wise.
Horizon, showing where I long to be. Outward bound, I travel on through rain or shine, where empty.
Now we're supposed to cut to some slow-motion footage of beautiful students to complete the package. Are you ready to apply now? Wait, scrap that. Listen, we're all tired of forced authenticity, and we don't want to waste your time with contrived quotes and stock footage. Let's try something different. You see, we believe in the challenge of a valuable education, the kind that keeps you well into the night as you search for the stars, the kind that prepares you for your dream job of changing the world. We love our beautiful campus, where diversity can be seen in the color of our skin and the service we engage in. We paint up, rise up, and stand up for truth. On 4th and 1, oh, you better believe we're going for it, because there's a fire in our hearts, a fire that burns for a better world. Like those who came before us, we're ready to roll up our sleeves and dig in. We have faith, hope, and love, so we become good fathers and mothers, co-workers and civil leaders, innovators, trailblazers, those who spark a revolution. We believe in training students how to remain true to their faith when the going gets tough, when those around you seem to rise against you. So if you're still watching, thank you. Let's build a better world for Christ. Liberty University, training champions for Christ since 1971.
Liberty University.
This is no ordinary school.
This is more than an education.
We're here to equip students
To make an impact.
On a global scale.
We believe we were created
To make a difference.
to serve God.
And each other.
Wherever we are,
Whatever we study, we are.
Champions for Christ.
We are.
We are.
We are Liberty University.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our great nation was built on these simple principles. So was our university. Find your greatness at Liberty. Online or on campus, discover more at liberty.edu. It's the difference between a job and a career.
Hey there, welcome welcome back to Game On. So glad you're here with us. Well, it's been a solid start to the season for the Liberty men's hockey team. They would look to continue their success against the top team in their conference, the Delaware Blue Hens. Delaware would take Game 1 of the series, winning 4-2, but Game 2 would be a very different story. Head coach Kirk Handy would make some lineup adjustments and find a nice spark. Freshman winger Andy Clark would amp up Flames faithful with a shorthanded goal in the second period. The big man showing off some nice hands on the breakaway. Later on, Flames on the power play, Grant Garvin would quickly cut across the mouth of the crease and make it 3-1. Delaware would then strike twice in a 57-second span to tie the game up at 3, but with just over 6.5 minutes remaining, Basil Reynolds' seeing eye shot would find the back of the net for the game winner, and the Flames would eventually take it 5-3. While staying with Liberty hockey, peaks and valleys are a part of life. No one knows this better than Liberty hockey assistant coach Marc-Andre Bourdon, whose professional hockey career taught him a lot about himself, but even more about Christ. Take a look.
For many Canadians, this is home. It's where you learn the lessons of life. It's where extended family is created. In so many ways, hockey is Canada, and Canada is hockey. For Quebec native Marc-Andre Bourdon, his dream was to play in the NHL, and it looked as if he was well on his way. The Philadelphia Flyers drafted Marc in the third round of the 2008 NHL entry draft. Unfortunately, during Marc's second year of professional hockey, he'd be sent down to the lowest minor league affiliate possible.
You know, that's not the path you want to have in your life. You want to move forward. And actually, that turned out to be something really good for me in my career because that's where I heard about God for the first time. I went to chapel because all the guys were going. And when I went to chapel, I heard from God, but I didn't think much of it. Like, I just ate the free meal. I was like, okay, that's, you know, good story, but this is just a story. And coming back in the AHL the next year, there was some guys from Greenville, and we started going to chapel there. And I really, I kind of started reading the Bible slowly but surely. I was still not, believing in it, but it started to, sink in. And I got called up to the NHL after, 14 games, so that was pretty special.
His dream had now become a reality. Marc had put on the Flyers sweater. However, the true life-changing event would soon follow.
Flyers had a really good team. You know, they had defensemen like Timonen, Colburn, Matt Carl, Meseros. They had all guys that were established, so there was absolutely no spot for a new guy, and it made room for me, and I was like, wow, this is happening, you know? I made it. You know, I scored my first goal, I played in the NHL, I played in the Winter Classic. But what's really special is that through that, I kept going to chapel. The chapel guy's name is Dan Edwards, and I'm still really good friends with him, and he was definitely the one that, explained me what God's love was, and, I really came to God because of him, because of God first, but through him, and I'm really thankful for him, and for God putting him in my life, and, he always had, a little flyer with, a verse on an explanation, and I really started reading the Bible and everything, and you know, it was still a process, and I'm still in the process. I mean, we're all in the process. We're never going to be perfect, but that's really where I accepted Christ in my life. I'm convinced that God got me to be a Christian when I played through success in order to prepare me for what was coming.
With a promising career in front of him, the next 2 seasons for Marc would be filled with trials. Marc would only be able to play in 24 games over the next 2 years, and at the end of the 2013-14 season, he'd be forced to retire at the age of 24.
I think when I had my concussions, I was like, what? God, I prayed, you know, I was a new Christian. I didn't really know how to do it. I was like, God, I trust you with my life, but please help me, but I don't know how I'm gonna do this. So, you know, I started praying and everything, and I was praying for God to touch my heart so I could understand more and become a better Christian. But I was also praying for my career to go on until I'm 50 years old. Obviously, if I could, you know, play in the NHL and have a great fate, that would have been the ideal world, but I just don't think that was meant for me. So I got over it because of God. There's no way I would have got over it if I didn't get to know God.
God had a plan for Marc, impacting youth through hockey. It was his involvement with Hockey Ministries International that brought him to meet Kirk Handy, the head coach of the Liberty Flames. That meeting put the wheels in motion for Marc to become an assistant coach on the staff.
I love Liberty. I love every guy on the team, every guy that has a hand to play on the team. I think it's awesome. God's got a plan for me and I will follow it, but I love Liberty, man. It's like ministering, being with these guys. I have hands with 25 players every single day for the year, and through just loving them and trying to shine your light, some hearts are going to be touched.
A once promising hockey career now looks like a Hall of Fame career for Christ.
It's a great story about how he got to Liberty and certainly God continuing to use him.
Sure.
Last week we took a week off from Warm, Hot, and Fuego, and were we ever flooded with calls, emails, threats to our safety?
Yes.
So with that in mind, we're giving the people what they want.
That's right.
Warm, Hot, and Fuego makes its return. Rhett, let's do it. Three best performances in Liberty Athletics. We begin with Warm.
Warm, and it's nice to have basketball back.
Oh, yeah.
It's exciting. I love Richie McKay, and I love these guys. They're an exciting team. So we're going to have 2 of our 3 today are going to be men's basketball.
Okay.
We'll start off here with Warm. That's going to be Ray Chen.
Yeah.
The senior
face.
coming in, but he is a new face. But this guy, I know you like to call him Chinsanity.
Chinsanity.
And he was a little bit of Chinsanity the other day. He's what the doctor ordered for this team again, the fact that he's a veteran presence, and we're all excited about the potential of this team, but they need a older guy to kind of look up to and lead the way. And this guy can play too. It's not like they just brought this guy in for his leadership. He had back-to-back threes in that game. He was getting it done down low defensively. And then also what I liked about his game is the fact that he would drive the paint, but it seemed like he had a knack for finding the open guy out at the three-point arc and hitting them, and they were draining some threes that way. So Ray Chen, glad to have you. I'm excited to see how he does this year.
Yeah, senior transfer from a Division II school, led his team in scoring there at the Division II level last year. From Taiwan's, played internationally, so nothing shakes this guy. He's played in a lot of gyms. As you mentioned, that veteran presence will be key for the Flames.
Huge.
All right, moving on now from Warm. Who's your choice for Hot?
Hot. John Dawson. This guy's going to be hot all year long. He's one of those guys you look down at Warm, Hot, and Fuego each week, and you're like, should I put him in again? People are going to start getting sick of hearing this guy's name, but he was hot the other night against Care, and this guy, he can get it done now at both ends of the court. So if you used to think he was just an offensive threat, that's not the case. He did score 15 points, so that's great for him. I think those numbers will get higher as the year goes on. But defensively, it looked like he's rededicated himself, you could almost say. He did a nice job cutting in down low hard, stuffing a guy that was taking it to the rim. He's almost like a rim protector. And you wouldn't think about that of John Dawson. You think all the bigs were going to do that. But he is taken upon himself to be the leader of this team. And he's, like I said, defensively, offensively, when it's going to be go time, the ball is going to be in his hands. And he's just, I don't know, I'm pumped. I can't wait to watch him the rest of this year.
Unquestioned leader. And honestly, watching him in that game against Karen, he got whatever shot he wanted, and he made it look easy. He didn't even look like he broke a sweat in that ball game. Exciting to see what he does as the competition level continues to rise.
Definitely.
Both for he and for this Flames team.
Exactly.
And finally, we build up to Fuego. We talk about it. We get so excited for this every week. It is quite the honor that you bestow, and you alone are the only one that can bestow this, Rhett. So really the pressure's on you. But who is your choice this week for Fuego?
Chris Turner, the DB. For the Flames. He's quietly had, I don't know quietly, but he's had a really great campaign. He's had such a good year, and I almost want to go back a little bit in time when I talk about him, and I will. But this game, he had 2 picks. You can see right there on your screen. Came all the way back down and gave the Flames great field position. But then he's an impact maker. He swings momentum in your favor with these picks, but the game I think about is Monmouth. When they had that play on the early goings, it looks like they're going for a touchdown, and he just tracks this guy down the whole way down the field and creates the fumble, and then it's back to Flames ball, and then they start scoring again, and they end up running away with that game. But he has that kind of impact on a game each and every week, and we've got him for 2 more years. It's good stuff.
Exciting times ahead. Rhett, great job as always. I'm glad we brought this back this week.
I did.
Let's do it again next week.
Sounds
what do you
good.
say? All right. Well, still to come, one Liberty coach takes his recruiting to another level. Don't go anywhere. It's coming right back.
We'd like you to meet a few people. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Debbie. Matthew and Mark enjoy some of the best on-campus housing options and the #1 ranked dining hall in the country. Luke eats on the go. And Debbie has a really comfy couch and makes some of the best lasagna you've ever tasted. Matthew and Mark love watching their team compete at the Division I level. Luke gets a lot of exercise, while Debbie works out her green thumb. Matthew and Mark are educated by some of the country's best professors. Luke and Debbie attend one of the highest-ranked, most affordable universities of its kind. And whether at their kitchen table or in another country, they're educated by the same great professors as Matthew and Mark at Liberty University. With over 500 online and on-campus programs of study, there's no one way to be a student. So, What are you waiting for? Connect today at liberty.edu. Liberty University, right now.
Be pleased and optimistic today. Pleased and optimistic today.
Hey, welcome back to Game On. You know, folks that are familiar with Liberty basketball know that head coach Richie McKay can recruit. You know this.
Oh, yeah. All day, every day.
Yeah, the dude gets the talent. But this past weekend, he took that recruiting acumen and put it to a bit different use. McKay could be seen courting the likes of Jerry's Jokers, the well-known student group that shows up at LU football games. Perhaps we'll see the Jokers make the transition to hoops this winter. That'd be nice. The Flames had a great turnout for their season opener with their exciting team they have. And with Coach McKay passing out that pizza, Vine Center has a chance to be rocking this season, right? You know, nothing gets people excited like pizza or T-shirt. So Richie knows what he's doing. He's
Totally
straight
does.
to the heart of these young people.
You gotta come out. There's a fantastic schedule this year. This team's so exciting. Like, where would you rather be?
Where would you rather
Seriously.
be? Nice and warm in the Vine Center.
That's right.
Come on out. We'd love to have you. Well, that about does it for us. As always, hit us up on social media at GameOnLU and our website, GameOnLU.com. He's Rhett McGibbon. I'm Matt Warner. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you right back here at Game On next time.
At Liberty University, our belief in training champions for Christ isn't restricted to our campus in Virginia. In fact, our online programs allow students around the world to access the same quality education as if they studied on our residential campus. After all, we firmly believe that students should be able to fit study time around family, work, or military responsibilities. The path to freedom begins at Liberty.